Hello and welcome to the Print live after high octane campaign and elections in Jammu and Kashmir and Haryana. It's time for exit polls. So far, five exit polls have given an edge to the Congress in Haryana as far as Jammu and Kashmir is concerned. The Congress and National Conference Alliance is ahead. But at the same time, no party so far has been shown to cross the majority mark. But as I speak, exit polls are still giving us more details about Jammu and Kashmir. And as usual, the health warning exit polls are not always accurate. Jammu and Kashmir is all set to get a new government after the assembly elections for its 90 constituencies, which were held over three phases. I have with me the political editor of ThePrint, DK Singh, and senior editor Sushil Manav, who has been covering Haryana for several years, to give us their insight and as to what do they think about the exit polls. Sir, what do you think, DK sir? How do you see these exit polls? They're saying that in Haryana, clear edge to the Congress. In Jammu and Kashmir, things are not so clear as yet, but edge to NC and Congress.
It actually ties up with the prevailing opinion. In fact, I would say, like in Haryana, you have been talking to people on the ground, and there has generally been this feeling that the Congress had a clear edge. And also, if you look at the BJP's strategy, the Prime Minister, as Social Mano reported, the Prime Minister who addressed 10 rallies in 2014, 6 in 2019, he has cut it down to 4 this time. So the party is not really exposing him that much, not really risking basically exposing him that much. Just look at this. Even the somebody who was the chief minister for 9 years, he is being hidden away. And Manohar Lal Khattar. Out of the 4 rallies, the prime minister was there. Manohar Lal Khattar was there on the dais at one in Sirsa. Even there, he did not address. So a party having to hide its chief minister of 9 years tells you the story of what's happening there. But as you said, that health warning, you never know which way exit polls go, because if you remember in 2019, almost all exit polls had given a very clear majority to the NDA and the BJP. We saw what happened. It was a hung house. So while these things are tying up with the prevailing narrative, we should be cautious. But let's look at the data also when you're looking at Haryana poll results. Look, if you look at the Lok Sabha elections in Haryana, 2019 onwards, 2014, you saw a major dip in the Congress's vote bank. And then you see Congress improving with every election. So in 2009, for instance, if Congress had about 42% vote share, it got almost halved in 2014. So Congress was around 41%. Congress got just 41% votes in 2014. It went up to 28% in 2019. And now it's over 47%. Of course, you will say that Aam Aadmi Party also had 3.5% there. But we know that in Kurukshetra, the Aam Aadmi Party, the votes Aam Aadmi Party got, we have the Congress. So again, from 21 to 28 to almost 48, Congress has been going up. Look at the BJP's thing. BJP, with Narendra Modi coming to the central stage, national central stage in 2014, the BJP's vote share in 2014 Lok Sabha election in Haryana went up to 35%. Then you saw it going up in a massive way. In 2019, it went up to 58%, which has come down to 46% now. I mean, in the last Lok Sabha election. So BJP is going down. And even if you start matching, because it's like we're trying to compare 5 years of what happened between 5 years. Say in the same year, when you have the Lok Sabha election and the Assembly election. In 2014, for instance, when the BJP got around 35% votes in the Lok Sabha election, in the Assembly election, the party got around 33%. It was almost the same vote share when the BJP managed to get 47 seats. But in 2019, when the party got 58%, in the ensuing assembly election, it still got, I think, 3% more votes, percentage point more than it got in 2014. But even then, the BJP's vote share in the assembly election was 36.5%. So in the Lok Sabha election, you get 58%. In the assembly election, just a few months down the line, You are down to 36.5%. Now you have a scenario where in the Lok Sabha election, the vote share has gone down from 58 to 46%. What will happen in the assembly election? So I'm just going by data because there is no way we can judge. We don't know what has been done. Exit polls are an indicator, but as you said, the health warning, you never know. But this is what the data tell you. This is what the prevailing narrative on the ground is. As for Jammu and Kashmir, yes, some of the exit polls are giving a clear majority to the NC and Congress, which again, you were there in Kashmir, Nilam. In fact, I would like you to talk about it. But on the ground, again, I was there just for a few days. There was this general feeling that probably NC and Congress will make it. But after that, engineer Rashid got out on bail. You have Jamaat-e-Islami jump into the fray. What kind of impact will it have on the ground? As you did the story, there are 28 separatists or ex-militants in the fray as independents, contesting on the Awami Ittihad Party's tickets, that is Engineer Rashid's party, or independents backed by Jamaat-e-Islami. We saw in the Lok Sabha election the kind of traction Engineer Rashid got. Now he tried to actually build out that on that momentum in the assembly election. We don't know how much traction he has got, and that's why exit polls fine, but you are never really sure. But generally, so if NC and the Congress get a clear majority, so that means the people have decided that fine, because their narrative has been that all these independents, all these parties, Awami Ittihad Party or the Jamaat-e-Islami, what they are doing is they are kind of team B of the BJP. That has been the NC Congress narrative there.
Narrative, yes.
If have they been able to instill that into people's mind, or were they able to? That we don't know, and that's why you see these differences in different exit polls. Some giving a clear majority to the NC Congress, some are still giving it a hung house. Let's say we'll have to wait for that.
Sushilji, if you could talk a little about, you've done a number of stories from the ground. You have been reporting on Haryana. You have covered several elections in the past. How do you see, or how do you see these exit polls? Do you think they are telling the true story?
See, the fact that BJP will have to go and Congress will come was a foregone conclusion the moment Lok Sabha results came, because the BJP lost all the Jat belt, whether it is Deswali belt, Bangad or Bagad. They lost Rohtak, Hisar, Sonipat and Sirsa there. And then in Ambala also, which is Sonipat, Panchkula district, Ambala and part of Yamunanagar. So, and as far as this assembly elections are concerned, there is a difference, because nearly 42 seats in Haryana are decided exclusively by the Jats. If you go see previous elections, even in 2014, INLD got 19, Congress 15, 34, and at least 10 Jat seats. Even BJP was able to win because Subhash Barala, Captain Abhimanyu, OP Dhankad, Mahipal Dhanda, there were several others, JP Dalal. So they also won in Jats. So this time Jats are against BJP. It is a well-known fact. And there is no other Jat party. Normally there used to be at least two Jat parties, whether it was INLD or before that it was Bansilal's party and Congress, of course. This time it is only Congress. So Congress was certain to get at least 35 to 38 seats from the Jat belt. Then you have Mewat seats. Then you have won this Ambala, and even this Jeet Road belt and Ahirwal belt. So Modi factor is missing in assembly polls, because in parliamentary poll many people vote for Modi. So that is not the case in this election. So that was a foregone conclusion. But these exit polls, normally these are giving minimum 45 and maximum 62 seats to Congress. It's fine. But many of the exit polls are giving up to 32 seats to BJP. which I don't think will happen, because if you see the character of Haryanvi voters, this was an election for change. So whenever Haryanvi voters vote for change, they don't beat the political party in power so mildly. So if we go to four or five last election, when the people, Haryanvi people voted for change. In 1977, Congress got 3 seats only. In 87, Congress got 5. People wanted to, change Congress at that time. In 1991, when people voted against Chotalas, their party got 16 seats. 2005, again against Chotalas, INLD got 9 seats. And 2014, when they voted against Congress, Congress got 15 seats. So I think BJP, if the BJP is able to get more than 20 seats, it will be wonderful for that.
Neelam, now that Sushil Manav is talking about past elections, if I may just draw it here.
Yeah.
There's this generally commonly held belief that, whoever wins Haryana Assembly election ends up ruling the center. And in fact, right before coming here, I was looking at the results. So I was looking at what happened in 2019, what happened in 2014, assembly elections I was looking at. Of course, the next Lok Sabha election will be 5 years later, because assembly elections come after the Lok Sabha elections. But I was going back and back, 1914, 2009, 2004, 2000, 99, 96. I was going back, and again, I had to do much work on that. But in all these elections, whichever party or coalition won the assembly election, in the next Lok Sabha election, that's the party or coalition you get at the center. That is something that will really worry the BJP. It may be superstitious, and all these trends don't always hold. But still, that would be worrying the BJP. Anyway, Neelam, you should be talking about your experience in Kashmir, and do you think what you see in exit polls actually reflect that? Before we start taking the viewers' questions.
Yes. I would just like to add that, apart from other states, one thing that I found a little unusual in Kashmir is the fact that people were not willing to talk. When they saw the camera, they were just not willing to talk at all. So I had very great difficulty in first getting them on camera. But if you did manage to speak to them off camera, they did talk about the fact that, Article 370 was an important issue for them, but they had decided that, in a way, voting in itself is an act of resistance. So they will come out and vote. So which is why we saw, that the voting percentage has more or less increased, even if not significantly, but it has increased. Secondly, on ground, I felt that many people were talking about the fact that other players should also have a role, but I felt there was a slight edge to the NC and Congress, but it also depends on seat to seat. So, for instance, there was some constituency, including one from where Jamaat-backed candidate Sayar Reshi is contesting from Kulgam, and he's pitched against the India Alliance candidate who has been, been there for several years. But on that particular seat, I could sense that, he was giving a tough fight to him, Tarigami. At the same time, I feel that basic issues like power cuts, electricity bills, overall development, they were really being talked about this time around more than even the issue of identity. Um, you already mentioned about Awami Ittehad Party, Engineer Rashid. I still, whenever I spoke to people there, they do look up to him as an alternative, but will that alternative be at this juncture or later is something that is yet to be, it's yet to become clearer. They had a soft corner for Engineer Rashid, but will that translate into vote or not is something that we'll have to wait and watch. At the same time, this entire thing about independent candidates being proxy of the BJP, the narrative that the NC and Congress Even PDP has been talking about that, the candidates that have been backed by the banned Jamaat are not really the real Jamaat candidates. That is also something that was visible on the ground. So I have a feeling that all this will have an impact on the overall results in the valley, at least. At the same time, now I just wanted to ask you that, we all have been talking about this brand Modi. Now, these exit polls are indicating that in Haryana, BJP is not going to make a comeback. In Jammu and Kashmir, it might be NC and Congress or a hung verdict. What does it mean for the brand Modi, especially coming after the 2024 Lok Sabha elections and going ahead when we have Maharashtra and Jharkhand election? You already mentioned that he has done lesser number of rallies compared to what he did earlier.
I was talking about the BJP's strategy. Brand Modi, as such, will see. Seen it slightly declining over the years. We saw it in the Mood of the Nation survey also, like compared to the past. It's gradually going down, but still, he remains the most popular leader. In Haryana, as I said, again, you can't be judging Brand Modi because he has addressed only four rallies. So in 2014, when he addressed 10 rallies, BJP's vote share came to about 35% from 12% or so in 2009. He changed the entire thing. So Brand Modi was very much there in 2014. In 2019, in the Lok Sabha, Brand Modi was very much there. I have spoken about 58% votes. Of course, out of the, BJP went up from 35% or 34.5% to 58% from 2014 to 19. But that's also because most of it came from the INLD, and there was a massive decline. So about 22.5% of the 24% votes that INLD had in 2014, almost all of them shifted to the BJP in 2019. That way, in Lok Sabha election, you could talk about Brand Modi. But again, you come to assembly election, despite that Brand Modi shining all the way in 2019, it's shown actually much more than ever in 2019. Yet, when it came to the assembly election, BJP's vote share did not go up beyond 36.5%. So in the Lok Sabha, you had 58, it was down to 36.5. 2024, the BJP is not even exposing him too much. And in fact, you read our editor-in-chief Shekhar Gupta's column today, where he is saying that, on the posters also, you don't really see Prime Minister Modi's face is one of many on the posters.
Not very
Unlike in
prominent.
all the other elections, you see that he is the man standing tall in posters. In Haryana, in fact, he's one among many. There are many local leaders. The 8 or 10 leaders, actually, their pictures there on party candidate posters.
Just
So
mug
BJP,
shots.
mugshots. So BJP has done its best to convey the thing that this verdict, whatever it is in Haryana, should not be seen as a reflection on Modi or his popularity, which I would say is a bit, which shows a kind of defeatism, because you never did that earlier in any other election.
At the same time, Sushilji, you must have seen they changed the chief minister months before the elections. This is a strategy that they had used in Gujarat, which worked for the BJP. They also used it in Uttarakhand, again, where it worked for the BJP. Why do you think it is not working here in Haryana? What is it that is so wrong, let's say, with the party or the organization or at the level of the government, that this strategy is not working for them? If the exit polls are correct, of
So,
course.
if the exit polls are correct, and if actually BJP manages to get 25 or more seats, so this will be a respectable defeat, and that will be only because of change of chief minister. And with the change of chief minister, there were many changes. One, Khattar Dao, credit goes to him for the no kharchi no parchi government, and BJP is basically trying to cash in on that also. But at the same time, because of his arrogance, he annoyed many people, including his own party leaders. So when this Naib Seni came, he opened the doors of Chief Minister's house for public. That was not the case when Khattar was Chief Minister for 10 years. Nobody was allowed to enter the chief minister residence. So this is one. Second, there was, I mean, people were angry because of Agni Veer, and he announced that we'll be providing them jobs after their when they come back. Then there was about farmers issue. So he announced MSP on all the 24 crops. The Huda said that uh, Haryana don't have even 24 crops, but he said we'll be purchasing all the crops on this MSP. So at least these are the kind of changes that came after Naib Sani became chief minister, and that may help the BJP for getting a respectable kind of defeat. That's what I feel.
Well, one of our viewers,
In
Chanda,
Haryana, BJP is okay. Please go ahead with the questions. Let's take that. Let's not-
you can continue and I will answer.
No, what I was saying in Haryana, the BJP's entire approach, it's not just about in Haryana. Their entire political approach that, you pit dominant caste against non-dominant caste. So it has to be Jat versus non-Jat in Haryana. It has to be tribal versus non-tribal in Jharkhand. In Maharashtra, you keep Marathas out, bring a Brahmin as a face. So the BJP's strategy has been that, okay, fine. So there may be a dominant caste, but non-dominant castes, maybe there are too many of them, but together they become numerically superior. So you pit the dominant against the non-dominant, it works for you. That was the BJP's strategy, be it in Jharkhand, Maharashtra, many states they have done that strategy. Now in Haryana, again, that strategy was not working. What we saw in 2019, BJP's tally came down from 47 to 40. BJP did not get a majority. And yet it went ahead and, it continued with Khattar. Nothing changed there. So backlash had to happen. So that is one strategy I think BJP needs to revisit. As Sushil ji said, if Jats swing the elections in 42 seats, you can't wish them away. BJP has to go back to the drawing board and see how this strategy is working, not working.
This
I'll
time,
just say
If reports are correct, again, let's keep
Yes.
putting this caveat out here.
Of course, and I'll just start with some of the questions that our viewers have sent. Also, please do keep sending in your questions. It could be regarding Haryana or Jammu and Kashmir or overall BJP and the other parties. Where Chanda Bhardwaj wants to know if these exit polls are correct, what will happen in Maharashtra and Jharkhand, and what would it mean for the BJP?
Oh, well, look, every state is different. The issues that drive the polls in every state are always different. But what should worry the BJP is the fact that it had to hide the prime minister in Haryana. Hide is probably a strong word, but probably not expose him as much as it could have. So if the BJP is growing diffident about showcasing him, that's a matter of big worry because Maharashtra also, given the infighting, the Mahayuti, you have one chief minister aided, quote unquote, by two chief ministerial aspirants, the two deputies. And there still we know how they are fighting. So if you want to contest the election in Maharashtra, you cannot be saying that vote for Sinde or vote for Fadnavis or vote for Ajit Pawar. You won't be saying that. You needed the prime minister to be the face, as you did in the past in many states, that vote for Modi. But if you are somehow losing the courage to do that in Haryana, would you be able to do that in Maharashtra? Because the moment you say that, okay, Sinde is our chief ministerial candidate, which nobody has said as yet, and you see all these chief ministerial contenders, they tell you that, okay, it will be decided after the elections, which is worse. So if you don't go with the face, they all will be fighting. And one cementing factor that the BJP had was Prime Minister Modi. He was always a cementing factor where, he transcends all those local issues, local factors, all these faces in fighting everything. And if you are having to, not hide him, to basically not to go all out with him as a face, then there is a problem. There will be a problem in Maharashtra, probably in Jharkhand also, because even there you see, in Jharkhand you will see there are about half a dozen chief ministers of the BJP traveling around today. Many ex-chief ministers, union ministers, dozens of BJP MPs. You don't have a local face there. Even there you will need the prime minister as your face then, because you are not very confident of a local face in Jharkhand or in Maharashtra. But you are not showing that confidence. You did not show that confidence in Haryana when it comes to the Prime Minister.
Sushilji, we have been talking about, what went wrong with the BJP. But if you look at the Congress, if these exit polls again are correct, who would be their chief ministerial candidate? Isn't that an issue again, which will, involve a lot of infighting? That has been going on for a while now. We've heard from Ms. Shelja.
So now Selja has, time and again said that I am a candidate for the CM and I am the senior most. Hooda, of course, because everybody knows that out of the 90 tickets, at least 72 were uh, given to Hooda's people. And then there are a few independents, like I told this Ambala candidate, Chitra Sarvara, who is now basically she has direct contest with the Anil Vij, and Congress candidate is nowhere. So that way, if the Congress has to basically ascertain this from the elected MLAs, of course Buddha stands chances. Then Salja also said in one of her interviews that you are talking of two people only. You are not talking about Dipender Huda. So, I mean, you can't discount his name also. And when this was, some reporter told Huda that Shalja said that Dipender can also be the CM. Then he said, कि आप वो भूल रहे हो, Randeep Surjewala is also there. He has also said. So, eventually in Congress, it's a culture that once the results come and then the party basically sends their observers, they speak to MLAs and then they announce. But here, what I think is, because you don't have government at the center, so you will have to go with a person who has the maximum number of MLAs. Because when Bhajan Lal was ignored and Hooda was made CM in 2005, Congress had a government at the center. So that's not the case now.
Sushilji, if you talk about Dipender Huda, if you ask me, I would say why not? Of course, senior Huda is very much around and is hale and hearty and he can do the job. But just because we talked about him, he was the biggest star campaigner. And it's not just in this election. For the last 10 years that the Congress has been in the opposition, Dipender Huda has been on the ground all these 10 years fighting it
Yeah.
out. So, well, he
Definitely.
will not be the chief ministerial candidate, but when you talk about his candidature, his suitability, I think he's well suited. Why not?
No, no, what I think is that he stands equal chances
I'm
among
just
the four
talking about what
people.
the detractors is talking about him. So,
So see, Dipinder Hooda basically he was a technocrat. He was working in US when Hooda became chief minister in 2005. So Hooda vacated his Rohtak parliamentary seat, and he was basically asked to come, and he was reluctant to join politics initially. So then he became MP, and after then he has been winning. But in 2019, when election was 2000 parliament election, one the election was highly polarized, and second there was this Balakot issue, so he lost by a very narrow margin. So after that, he, was elected to Rajya Sabha. But during all these years, not only in his Rohtak parliamentary constituency, he has been active across the
yeah,
state.
yeah. Yes, Neelam.
Yeah, I was saying that, we have been reporting on this, that how at the organizational level, BJP is already facing a lot of problem, whether it is Rajasthan, whether it is Delhi or Madhya Pradesh. If these again exit polls hold true, then what would it mean for the party? I mean, BJP workers are known as someone who work throughout the year. They don't take a break. But after the 2024 Lok Sabha defeat, and if these exit polls also hold true, and the fact that many felt that people who come from outside, from other parties, are given much more than those who toil hard for the party. What would it mean for an average party worker? Will it change something for them?
Neelam will be more upset because if you look at Haryana again, so many turncoats have given tickets by the BJP. So BJP did not really learn any lessons from the way the Karyakartas on the ground reacted to all these paratroopers from other parties. So BJP High Command has continued with the same policy.
But
Yeah,
I
well,
think had the BJP not basically given tickets to people from other parties in 2014, they wouldn't have come to power. It was only because of, I mean, people who were strong in their constituencies and they were basically hired from outside. It was largely because of them that the BJP won Haryana for the first time.
well, not exactly related to the exit polls, but we are already seeing how their membership drives in many states, they are already facing problems, whether it's Rajasthan or whether it's Madhya Pradesh. So this again, if these exit polls hold true, then it is going to affect the common party worker on ground. But because sir, I wanted to ask you about what does it mean for the Congress, especially this has come after the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Many had felt that the win, it was mostly a vote against the BJP, not for the Congress. What would Haryana sort of signify?
Of course, it'll boost the party workers' morale, but the fact is, in Haryana, unlike in most other states, Congress has been fighting fit in Haryana thanks to the Hudas. All through 10 years, Haryana was probably the only state, a few others you can say, Karnataka, Kerala, where the party organization was always active. So you had these Hudas holding agitations farmers' agitations, and all through the year, cornering the government in the assembly, outside the assembly, on the road. So the Congress as an organization was very much alive or has been alive in Haryana all these 10 years, unlike what you see in other states. So this victory of the Congress in Haryana, you have to give it to the Hudas. But of course, it'll motivate the cadres, help the party, its bargaining power within the India bloc will go up. And of course, you are riding the momentum. But while we are looking too much at Haryana now, I'm pretty curious about what happens in the JNK Assembly election. What exit polls? Well, the BJP actually this time you saw BJP put its might there. It may be contesting just 62 seats, including 19 in the valley. But then through those independents and they are not hearsays. I mean, if you go to, you must have realized in the valley, everybody is talking about the BJP, even though the BJP is no force in the valley. So that fear that BJP can come, that you see in the valley, even though as I said, BJP is hardly a force there. And if you are
And we
contesting
also
the 62
saw
seats,
And we also saw how serious, as you said, BJP is about Jammu and Kashmir. We brought back Ram Madhav to Jammu and Kashmir to ensure that he had strategized for them earlier, and it felt that it needed his sort of personal, let's say he could give some mantra or the other as far as Jammu and Kashmir is concerned. But at the same time, right from senior leaders campaigning, star campaigners doing their rallies, PM Modi also addressed. Several rallies in Jammu and Kashmir, including one in Srinagar. So overall, the BJP, despite the fact that everyone felt that in the valley it is not going to do well, of course, but still they ensured that they wanted their presence to be felt in the valley also. Jammu, of course, when we speak to a number of BJP leaders, even till today, they are quite confident of doing very well in the Jammu region. You must have also, you had also traveled in Jammu and Kashmir. But what do you think has changed in the past 10 years since, the elections are taking place after 10 years? So what is this one agenda you think that is there, which was not there before?
first of all, I'll start with first. Let me talk about the BJP because you're talking about the BJP's efforts in Jammu. So if you extrapolate the Lok Sabha results for every assembly segment, the BJP led in 22 seats, 22 assembly segments. So if you have the Lok Sabha election happening under Prime Minister Modi's name, it's a vote for Modi. Even then, you lead in only 29 segments. That's not very encouraging for the party. So let's see what happens in Jammu, despite all the hype. Because if people are voting for Narendra Modi, and you are there only on 29 out of 43 seats, and you are nowhere there in the valley. So there's a big question mark what happens. As for the last 10 years, look, everything changed after 2019. So you don't have to look at what happened in 2014 and onward. In 2014, if you remember, if you look at the voter turnout, the turnout was the highest. It reached a peak in 2014 after nearly 25 years. There's huge turnout in 2014. Post militancy, it was the highest turnout 2014. If you look at the turnout now in this election, in Jammu and Kashmir, the turnout, and let's talk about the valley, forget about Jammu. In the overall state, if you look at, it's close to 64%, which is just about a couple of percent point less than what it got, what the turnout was in 2014. So people are actually very enthusiastic about resumption of this democratic process, of the political processes being in place. So that enthusiasm you were saying, 370, of course, I have been spoken about it in other videos. 370, of course, if you talk to people, they are like, well, we have lost our identity. But somehow you sense that, this sense of resignation is very clear that fine, we have lost it, let's move ahead. And in fact, Manoj Sinha-led administration has done very well in the Kashmir Valley. You have roads. I mean, the government is seen there everywhere. Government officials would not go to rural areas, to far-flung places earlier. You see them
Even
all
when we
around.
spoke to
You see
people
teachers coming.
on ground also, they said that security has improved, tourism has improved.
LG Sinha has done pretty well, but that will not translate. That did not. I don't really see that translating into votes and what happened there. But my take on Jammu and Kashmir is, whatever be the results, forget about the exit polls. Kashmiris are in for disappointment. Look at the three scenarios that you may have. In one scenario, suppose BJP gets its chief minister. Very difficult to do it on its own, because if you're contesting on 62 seats, including 19 in the valley, there is no way that you are going to cross the 46, the majority mark of 46. If you're contesting just these many and you are nowhere in the valley.
Right.
So what does the BJP do? Of course, PDP will not come with it, NC will not come, Congress will not come. BJP will have to go and fetch the independents, the so-called separatists, ex-militants. What kind of government will you have with the BJP? Will the BJP be interested? And of course, I'm talking about 46 as a majority mark, discounting the fact that there are 5 nominated members also, which the LG can nominate, and they also have voting rights. So in a way, the majority mark goes up to 98. But right now, I won't be discussing about 98, because they're nominated once there is provision for their nomination, but it will happen later. LG can do that once the assembly is there. Anyway, so we are talking about BJP coming up with the help of all these independents and smaller parties. Very unlikely, but this is what the BJP has been looking at. As I said, very unlikely. Of course, Kashmiris will not be happy with that, because, as I said, 370, they may not be talking about 370 every day.
Right.
But that's always there, that sense of that they have missed it, they have lost it. That's scenario number one. Second scenario is where you have a hung house. So Manoj Sinha administration continues. I mean, LG continues to rule. And that is not something that people have shown. This high turnout, very impressive turnout, tells you that people want their own representatives in the assembly. They want their own representatives to run the government. While we have already said that Manoj Sinha is very much liked there in the valley. People like him as an administrator, the way he has handled things. Yet they want their own people in the government. They want their own government, who they have elected. So hung house and continuation of the president's rule does not really work for them. What's the third scenario? Third scenario is what some of the exit polls are telling you, that NC and Congress will have a clear majority. Or even if they don't have, I'm sure PDP will come with them. And they can manage the numbers if they are anywhere close to 45. Even if they form the government, in that case, we are looking at Omar Abdullah as the next chief minister. Problem is, even then, Kashmiris will be disappointed, because they will soon have a Delhi-like situation, where the elected government is fighting with the lieutenant governor all the time. Most of the powers have been given to the lieutenant governor there. So lieutenant governor will decide who the administrative secretaries will be. Transfer and posting of administrative secretaries will have to be done only with the consent of the governor, of the lieutenant governor. Your IAS, IPS officers can be transferred, posted only with the consent of lieutenant governors. The elected government cannot even appoint an advocate general or law officer. If you have any financial application having to do with police or many other departments, LG has to clear it. There's so many things. LG has the real power. So even if you have Omar Abdullah as a chief minister, the Kashmir will have the misfortune of seeing what is happening in Delhi today, where the elected government and the LG office are at loggerheads all the time, where people have to suffer. So they may have a lot of expectations from the next government. But if you have Delhi-like situation in Srinagar, that will be a big disappointment for the people.
As Iltija Mufti had said that, a CM will not even have more power than a mayor has in many cities.
Yes.
We have a question from a YouTube viewer wants to know if Congress comes to power in Jammu and Kashmir, will they try to revert Article 370? Because NC has promised this, but Congress, of course, has remained mum on this subject. And a number of people that I spoke to, the independent candidates, they were quite vocal that, Article 370 is done and dusted. It is not going to come back. But if you look at PDP or Congress, NC, they have been talking about it.
That's a fact. Article 370 is gone. Even the Kashmiris know it's not coming back. That special status is gone. Congress is not promising that in the valley. Congress is not talking about that here at the center. That issue is gone. NC and the PDP, they have to talk about it because they have to cater to that constituency and people want to hear them say that. But the NC and PDP leadership knows very well. You talk to them off the record. They know there is nothing they can do. And we have heard Farooq Abdullah talking about, pursuing the legal course of action. And we know what the Supreme Court has already done. So it's done and dusted. It's just that, political parties are trying to keep it alive for obvious reasons.
Atul Kumar also wants to know, do you think BJP may lose some seats from Congress or others where they are already dominant in some part of JNK?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
He's asking, do you think BJP may lose some seats from Congress or others where they are already dominant? So he means Jammu, that in Jammu also they may lose some seats, BJP?
As I said, it depends. Look, you have many players, especially DPAP of Ghulam Nabi Azad. BJP was hoping a lot from him. He was supposed to eat into the Congress NC vote bank. And Azad, he was in two minds. He also saw the wind blowing, which way the wind was blowing. First, he said he was not well. He was pulling out of the campaign, and he gave the option to his candidate, DPAP candidate, to withdraw if they wanted to. But then towards the end, he decided, okay, he would campaign. So that fizzled out. And as I said, out of 43 seats in Jammu region, BJP led in only 29 in the 2024 Lok Sabha election where people were voting for Modi. So I don't know what all had changed in the last 3-4 months. That when people are voting for, they don't know who the chief minister will be, more people will vote for the BJP. Maybe many things have changed on the ground, but I'm not really sure about that. So yes, Congress and NC, I won't be surprised if they gain a few of the Congress seats, of the BJP seats. But in Jammu, the BJP is always strong, that we know.
Well, one last question. Napa Zapata, one of our viewers, wants to know. We have partially answered it, but just for greater detail. If BJP also loses Maharashtra, by the end of year, all centers of big corporates, Mumbai, Gurgaon, Bangalore, Hyderabad, will go out of BJP's direct control. How would it impact electoral economy?
Electoral economy, I don't know, it's a loaded phrase, electoral economy. I don't know in what sense he's talking about. Is he talking about the pulse strings of the political parties or otherwise? But yes, if you lose all these metros, let me talk about it. Political sense, the BJP getting out of most of the metros is a big signal to them because this party has been strong in metros, I mean, in urban India. although of course if you look at the CSDS post poll survey, they have done pretty well in the rural areas also, but its stronghold has been the urban areas. And if you keep losing your metropolitan base, that should be worrying that party. I'm definitely
Well,
worrying the BJP very much. It's like losing your main strongholds. So you are already not there in Calcutta, you're not in Chennai, you are not in Delhi, Mumbai. That will be a big blow to them. They're not even in Hyderabad. I mean, look at all the metropolitan cities.
well, thank you so much for your time, DK sir, Sushil Manavji. Tuesday, we will be live on October 8th as a result for the one of the states and the UT will be announced. So do log in for analysis from our team and top experts. We will be live throughout the day. Thank you so much for watching.